Hello, everybody. What a day, man. What a day. Thanks. Yeah, great opportunity. Last Momo. Be able to stand here and talk again. Very special. I've got goosebumps all over. Great to see so many familiar faces, also a lot of new ones. I see how the team has developed Momo, and it's also great to see. And I think it's a great decision to stop, because I think really that in order, if you seed and kind of things grow, you need to kind of harvest and then kind of do things again. And I think even we couldn't have started Layar if we didn't stop with Mobile Monday and being in it part of that organization. So, things need to stop sometimes. No problem. Very cool. So today I'm going to talk about space and what we do with space, the space that's available for us. And of course, this is a subject as an augmented reality company that's very interesting for us, because without space, there's nothing to augment, in a sense. So the talk, I've got three main parts of the talk. Talk a little bit about space. How do I look at space? The definition of space. In that sense, I also see how we relate to space. And when we talk about how we relate to space, I identify 4 different types of space, which I want to talk you through. And then what can augmented reality add to those spaces? I see I only have 17 minutes and I've got 45 slides, so it's going to be a stretch, but let's go. It's going to be a big talk. So what is space? For me, space is the environment we directly witness, filled with the people, things, and events around us. So it's not about deep space for me, it's about the space we can witness as human beings right here, right now. Question is, why is space? For me, space is the possibility to create meaningful experiences. I think without the things, events, and people around us, life wouldn't have a lot of purpose. So we need space to have meaningful lives. So it's interesting that we all want meaningful lives, but which experiences actually deliver those meaningful experiences? So to have a little discussion about this, I have a little example. What do you see here? It's driftwood on a beach. Well, actually, it's an image of driftwood on a beach. Well, actually, it's an image of Andrew Gold of driftwood on a beach. And it's very vague. Question here, was that a meaningful experience for you guys, to see this piece of driftwood on an image? Who found this to be very meaningful? Can you share why? So you like the art of it, or the kind of the visual construction of it? Cool, nice. Well, let's now imagine that indeed, I'm an artist walking on this beach, and I'm seeing this piece of driftwood, and it inspires me to create all kinds of new sculptures from this piece of wood. That's one possibility. But what if I'm I'm a survivor on an island, and I'm all alone, and I need a piece of wood that provides shelter for me? Then this piece of wood transforms in shelter. It could also be the case that I, with my friends, have a barbecue on this beach, and I need some wood to fire up the barbecue. In these 3 circumstances, it's how we interact with the wood that defines who we are and in which context we are. And so you have, on the one side, you have a survivor that uses the wood to survive. You have an artist that's inspired by it and uses the wood to create art. And the other one uses it as a resource for a barbecue. I think it's important here that for those 3 people, the wood had different purposeful meanings. And the commonality here is, I think, the verb. They used the wood. They somehow entered a relationship with the wood. They didn't just look at it, they acted upon it and had a relationship with the wood. So for me, it's important that the verbs we choose when we interact with things say something about who we are as a person. And I'm not the first one to see this. Do we have sound? Yeah? Okay, let's go.
I told you he'd come. Wait! You could die. At least tell me your name.
It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me.
Go back.
Bruce?
So it's what you do with space that gives meaning to your life. In other ways, by doing something with something, you create a relationship with that thing. It plays a part in your life. So this is space for me, the opportunity to have relationships with the things around you. And when you can have a relationship with the things around you, or the people around you, you can get a meaningful life. It's your decision. So now let's talk about available spaces. And to do so, I'm going to tell a little story. It's going to take a couple of minutes. It doesn't really have a point in itself, but it helps with the next phase. So imagine you're a farmer, a tomato farmer somewhere, and you love to be in the field, stand with the sun on your head, picking tomatoes, feeling the earth on your feet, squeezing even tomatoes, smelling them. You like to make pasta sauce of these nice tomatoes, and in your kitchen you cut these tomatoes very gently and make a beautiful pasta sauce there, right, in your kitchen. And the people in your village, they come by and they like your pasta sauce, and sometimes you give them a jar and they tell you, maybe it's time you go to the big city and sell your pasta sauce there. You think, oh, that's a nice idea, let's go to the city. So you pick up some pasta sauce, put it in a car, and you go towards the city, and you enter this city. And you say, okay, here are a lot of people, let's sell my pasta sauce right here. So in the middle of the street, you put your jars on the street and say, okay, guys, who wants to buy my pasta sauce? And then a policeman comes over and says, sorry, guy, you can't sell pasta sauce here. That's not allowed. You can only walk here, shop here, but you cannot sell your pasta sauce here. It's okay. No problem, I'll go away. And what you want to do is kind of write on the wall there where they can buy the pasta sauce, or if they want to have pasta sauce, that where your hotel room is. But that doesn't allow it as well, so you got fined. And they said, no, you can't do that. What you need to go to a supermarket and sell your pasta sauce there. So you go to the supermarket, and the supermarket says, sorry, but you need to be a corporation to sell the pasta sauce here, and you need to have all kinds of certificates. You don't have them. So you're sad, you go home, and when you're home, you watch some TV, and suddenly on the TV, you're watching it, and then this farm appears, this beautiful tomato farm, and you see this farmer on the TV that really resembles you even, and it remembers you of the tomato farm you have at home. The clip continues, and you see the guy making a nice pasta sauce. It's beautiful imagery, and you see the sun, and you think back of those moments back on the farm. Turns out to be a Bertolli commercial. Interested in Bertolli, you never heard of it, you go back the next day to a supermarket and check out this Bertolli. You buy a packet of it, you make the sauce, or you eat the sauce, and it actually tastes the same as the sauce you've made on your own farm. And you want to check out who this Bertolli is, so you call Bertolli, and you want to say, can I talk to the farmer? And where's the farm? So I want to discuss with him how he makes his sauce and where he got the recipe. Turns out there is no farm. There is no farmer. There's just this big production facility and a company called Unilever, where you never heard of those people, you don't know. So you have no idea how to kind of get connected to these people. Well, that was a wasted day. So you go home again. Oh, and they told you they have a fan page on Facebook. Okay, so in the hotel lobby, you go to sit behind the computer, find and look on Facebook, make an account, and suddenly you see this ad on Facebook telling you that you can actually farm on Facebook. It's called Farmville. You can farm your own tomatoes right now. So he was up all night farming tomatoes on Facebook. So that was a story. I could have said, and then he killed himself to make a point, but that's kind of the story. So in this story, there were 4 spaces which we kind of went through. It's what I call free space. We started off in the farm. We have control space. That's the city with limited verbs and possibilities. It's dream space, where you're sucked into experiences, and virtual space, when you're completely disconnected from anything physical and have a virtual experience. So I want to shortly walk through these and look at the different attributes or specifications of these spaces and how we can interact with those spaces. Because as I just told you, it's important to be able to interact with those spaces. So free space, that's the best space of them all, right? That's the space of family, hobbies, friends. That's a space where you can really be yourself, you have control, you can create the experiences themselves. The verbs in this space are endless. You can do whatever here. You choose how to interact with the people around you, with the things around you that you own or which are for you. This is who we are. You drip off these objects which are around you. It's on the walls of your home. This is who you are. In control space, it's hard to put yourself in that. It's space which is for groups of people, like commuters, citizens, visitors, users. It's a kind of take it or leave it space. Yeah, we've designed it for you. Just take it. Here it is. It's a space which revolves around property and ownership. And we have a limited set of verbs. It's either one verb or nothing. There's not a choice of verbs. It's buy or don't buy. It's enter or don't enter, park or not park. It's a lot of instructions and tasks, but you don't have the freedom to really do in this space what you would like to do. For example, I treat the wall in the city completely different as I treat the wall in my home. Third space, dream space. This is the space of imagery, moving or not, where we are sucked into the experiences designed and conceived by others, which we kind of steal at that moment because we have not experienced that. It's kind of we steal those experiences and we shortly borrow an identity of somebody to give us this experience. It's about immersion and about swallowing these. And we also don't have a lot of verbs here. A lot of them can be brought back to consume. And this is the world of content, media, ads, packaging, etc. Then we have the last kind of space we have created, which is the virtual space. It's an unlimited supply of everything, in fact. There are so many new nouns which we have created in this space, which have no relation to the physical world, like tweets and clips, etc. It's personalized. It continuously makes you hungry for more. And we love to be in this space, playing around with these new nouns and the basically common verbs we know as share, comment, like, play. So if you would put these 4 worlds on 2 axes, one of freedom to choose how you want to interact with that space, and on the other side, that you are limited in how you interact with that space, and then the physical world and the digital world, you would end up with this. 4 different worlds, all with their own characteristics and their own properties, how to interact in those spaces with the objects in that space. So a big question might be now, what's up next, right? Well, what's next is that we're going to expand free space. And that means that we will connect to the physical world and we will add verbs to that world. More verbs. For example, a couple of years ago, with the mobile phones, we started to share moments we experienced. That share word is a verb which was introduced and gave us new possibilities. Another great example is what we can do with something like the Duif, this building. We used to be able to enter it and leave it, but now we can also check in, which in itself added a verb to this place. And we will add more verbs to these places, or to the things around us. Maybe verbs like replicate, copy, with 3D printers, or even manipulate and change with nanotechnology. If we don't like how something looks, we just ask it to change shape in the way we like it to be. So there's a lot going on here on the short term and on the long term, but the commonality here is that we are adding verbs to the things which are already around us. We're not inventing new nouns, not more things. We appreciate the things which are there, and we are getting more verbs to interact with them, to build relationships with them. So it's about this, where we have limited verbs, where we will start to add verbs. It's a space that's controlled and owned, and that's a space of media and content where we will also add verbs. I think we will even add so many verbs that we will completely see our space as being elastic and that we can shape it in any way we want. And maybe that reminds you a little bit of okay, that's cool. You know, if you can use a matrix clip, use it. So, that's about the available spaces and what we can do with it and how we interact with them. Let's now go to augmented reality and how can augmented reality add meaning? And if it can, a virtual programmable layer on top of reality add meaning? And to add meaning, we need to add verbs. So it's what you do with space. So what verbs can augmented reality add to the things, people, and events around us? It's this place, right? In the control world, control space, and dream space, what can augmented reality add? So here's an example of a building in Enschede. It's called the Stadshart. Currently, you can either look at it or not, but that's kind of your options here, right? But with augmented reality, we can add a poll to it and ask people if you want this to be demolished or not. This gives a new opportunity to build a relationship with this building and which can start a conversation about this object. For example, what also could happen is that you have here this beautiful BP logo and they carefully arrange this nice brand image for you, but then there are artists that feel differently and that show you that kind of you're leaking oil. It's in that sense, you know, the world is just a canvas and people start expressing. So expressing yourself on top of things is definitely one of the verbs which can be associated to augmented reality. A nice seductive ad targeted at women, I believe, to buy, I guess, perfume or something, or clothing. You know, people can start commenting on this and can start a conversation, or they can start even to play. So what you see here is that what's intended to be an end product is in fact a start of a new experience. Do you guys know Tyson? Ever heard of Tyson chicken? The Americans probably do. Yeah, yeah, you love it? No, they use antibiotics, and they use it in all that chicken. With augmented reality, this information can be revealed, and these are the deeper layers of reality which are behind the superficial layer of imagery. And augmented reality is great to kind of show them, and in fact, kind of jam this spectacle which is designed. So that's what augmented reality can do. So in summary, close to the end, space will be democratized. Control space and especially dream space, those two spaces will be democratized, accessible for people. We can add verbs to those spaces now. The exclusivity of space is over. Augmented reality can add meaning. As we have a greater palette of verbs we can use to interact with space, we can create meaningful experiences out of those. And augmented reality kind of jams the spectacle. So designed experiences get jammed by all kinds of things we cannot even think about now. And best of all, we see the world through the eyes of others, which can links back a little bit to the talk about space, is by seeing the world through different eyes now, we can raise the level of consciousness of us all. And augmented reality will save us from the matrix, of course. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, now, I don't have questions, Raimo, because it's the meaning that I asked. Thank you very much. Is there a question for Raimo? Yeah.
I have one question. At the EG8, 1 week ago, there was a key issue about a closed internet or regulated internet driven by big corporations, the governments, versus an open internet, generative. That's the solution proposed by the internet professionals from the start. So this story is similar to that, in my view. What will be, in your view, the biggest showstoppers of your vision? And how can we deal with that?
If we cannot freely choose our verbs or have means to add verbs to our lives, so how to relate with the things around us, anything that stops us with our choice of verbs is a threat in a sense. And this enables us to kind of have meaningful experiences. Size is a big problem. If I think a corporation gets too big, I think it can be a problem to kind of make sure that the beliefs are true and that still the pure intentions are there to help people. Yeah, for us this is a big challenge as well. So if we, with Layar, now want to enable this, how can we be pure and stay pure as a commercial company? And how can we make money next to offering people the ability to change their worlds themselves? I have no answer, to be honest. But,
Okay, Yuri, thank you very much. We go to the next speaker.
Cool.
Thanks, Raimo.